Um, I would say that being able to host this panel is certainly one of the greatest honors of my life. And I think it is one of the great honors for certainly for the churches who are involved. There is a lot at stake for the churches in this matter. Their honor was at stake from the very beginning, and they were involved from the very beginning at a very fundamental level, and they were involved in the treaty-making process. Many people have said, many elders have both said in the oral traditions and also have written that the churches were, if they weren't directly co-signatories to the treaties, their presence and their involvement in the initial process, even before things like the residential schools, was a part of what allowed First Nations and other indigenous peoples of the land to involve themselves in that process. There is, I think, a matter of moral urgency about the issue of human rights in relationship to indigenous peoples, specifically and importantly as they are embodied in the UN Declaration of the Rights of Indigenous Peoples. The World Council of Churches saw this from the very beginning and was involved in the work that Chief Littlechild and others did in putting this together. There is, I think, very few matters more important for the churches than this, and it is very, very important as a matter of repentance and as a matter of choosing life, that the churches be involved in this as their work of a livable future for Canada and for this planet. So we are convening this conversation to help us, to help our children, to help our grandchildren, and to live the good walk. So we've brought together a spectacular group of people. We could spend the whole time just talking about them, but they have each in their own way provided what we would call a prophetic window, not only into the reality of injustice in life, but also they have provided a prophetic window into the future that we should live into. So I'll speak just briefly. Most of you know of their work. If you don't, you should come to understand it and know it better. Cheryl Lightfoot is the Canada Research Chair of Global Indigenous Rights and Politics and Assistant Professor in both First Nations and Indigenous Studies and Political Science at the University of British Columbia. But she has spoken on issues of Indigenous governance. She is Anishinaabe, and we are so very delighted to have her and be a part of this. And Ellen Gabriel, who is a Mohawk and has been a part of our conversation since 1990 when she was asked by the Longhouse to be their spokesperson at OCA. And she has been our guide and Canada's guide into the reality of Indigenous rights in so many ways, and spoken not only to us, but to the world about these issues, and of course, Chief Littlechild, to say that he's a TRC commissioner is just one thing of so many things that he has been a part of. And I've done some traveling with him, and he has spoken to the world about things that matter so much to who we are, what we are, and what we will be, and what I believe the great mystery is calling us to be. Now, I want to say one last thing before we ask Cheryl to lead us. She's going to speak on each of them are going to talk about what is C-15, and I'll introduce that in just a moment. I just want to say one other thing. Where I come from, if a great person, and certainly these three are great people, if a great person enters the room, you stand up. We can't stand up, but I would ask that where you are, that you would raise your hands for some great people. We honor them, not just for what they are going to say to us, but for who they are and what they have done for us already. So we honor them.